Early this morning, Melbourne time, the Australian-born Mary Donaldson became Queen of Denmark as her husband Frederik replaced his mother to become King Frederik X. They sealed it with a kiss in front of a crowd estimated 100,000. The king got quite emotional, wiped away a tear, and he promised Danes to do what kings should do: unite.
At blive en samlende konge er i morgen. Det er en opgave, jeg har nærmet mig hele mit liv. Det er et ansvar, jeg tager på mig med respekt, stolthed og stor glæde.
I see many Australians, especially Tasmanians, loving the idea that even one of us can rise to royalty.
Good luck to her. Good on her.
Good on her.
Good on him. Yeah.
Good on her.
It's wonderful. Finally, an Australian on a throne somewhere.
He seems quite at home.
Good day and welcome back to Royal News Daily, where crowns clash with consequences and even the quietest royal move can sound louder than a parliamentary meltdown. Now here is a question that has been quietly rattling palace walls and political circles alike. Did Queen Margrethe really step aside simply because the time felt right, or was her abdication a strategic masterstroke to steady a monarchy wobbling behind the scenes? Because when a reigning monarch abdicates without warning, it is never just about age. It is about timing, control, and survival. Before we unpack this royal riddle, make sure you subscribe to Royal News Daily and click the notification bell icon. That way, you will never miss a moment when royal power plays feel suspiciously like political chess matches. Let's set the scene. Queen Margrethe II reigned for decades, commanding respect not only in Denmark but across Europe. She was stable, respected, and frankly unshakable. Then suddenly, she announces she is stepping down. No drawn-out transition, no slow fade. Just a clean handover. In political terms, it was the equivalent of a prime minister announcing retirement mid-term and insisting everything is absolutely fine. Naturally, everyone leans in closer. Officially, the explanation was simple: age, health, and the belief that renewal strengthens institutions. A perfectly reasonable narrative. Australians hear versions of this every election cycle. Leaders step aside for the good of the party, the country, or the future. But just as often, there is more bubbling beneath the surface. Because here is where the timing becomes interesting. The abdication followed a period of renewed scrutiny around then-crowned Prince Frederik and his marriage to Mary. Old controversies resurfaced, international media sharpened their knives, and suddenly the future king was being discussed less for his readiness to rule and more for his personal judgment. For a constitutional monarchy, that is not ideal branding. Now, think of abdication not as surrender, but as strategy. By stepping down when she did, Queen Margrethe achieved several things at once. She controlled the narrative. She framed the transition as orderly and dignified. And most importantly, she shifted attention away from unresolved speculation and onto a historic moment of renewal. That is not retreat. That is political finesse worthy of a seasoned party leader. Enter King Frederik X. Overnight, the conversation changed. He was no longer a prince under scrutiny. He was a king beginning a new era. And with that promotion came a subtle reset. Critics had to recalibrate. Commentators softened their tone. Even skeptics hesitated, because attacking a new monarch during a national transition feels uncomfortably close to attacking the institution itself. And what about Queen Mary? From an Australian perspective, her role in this moment is impossible to ignore. She is not just a royal consort. She is a symbol of modern monarchy, bridging tradition and relatability. If there were internal concerns about stability, unity, or public confidence, ensuring that Mary stood alongside Frederik during the transition was absolutely essential. Some royal watchers argue that Margrethe's abdication effectively drew a line under the speculation. New reign, new chapter, move along. It is a tactic Australians will recognize instantly. Change the leader, refresh the message, and hope the electorate forgets why they were grumbling in the first place. But here is the twist. Abdication also places pressure on the new monarch to perform flawlessly. There is no grace period, no long apprenticeship. Frederik inherited not only the crown, but the expectation that calm would follow immediately. And when calm does not arrive on schedule, people start asking whether the transition solved the problem or simply postponed it. Public appearances since the abdication have been closely scrutinized. Every interaction between Frederik and Mary is analyzed with the intensity of a leadership debate. Are they united? Are they distant? Are they simply tired of being watched like contestants on a reality show nobody agreed to star in? The truth likely sits somewhere in the middle, but nuance rarely trends. From a political lens, this entire episode highlights how institutions manage risk. Monarchies, like governments, prioritize continuity above all else. When continuity feels threatened, decisive action follows. Queen Margrethe's abdication may well be remembered not as an emotional farewell, but as a calculated move to protect the monarchy's long-term credibility. Does that mean it was done specifically to save Frederik and Mary's marriage? Probably not in such a dramatic sense. But did it help stabilize public perception during a sensitive period? Almost certainly. And in politics, perception is half the battle. What makes this story resonate so strongly in Australia is our ongoing conversation about monarchy itself. Every royal controversy reignites debates about relevance, symbolism, and national identity. When a monarchy appears fragile, Republican arguments gain oxygen. When it appears